A nuclear bomb wiped out their home forever. Hello and welcome to Hidden History with Frank Strickland. It was 1946. World War II was over, but the world was a different place. The atom bomb had ushered in a new age. A new kind of war was beginning to brew, a Cold War. The United States had 2 bombs in its arsenal, and its military had a pressing question. What would a nuclear explosion do to a Navy fleet? The world's most powerful fleet, mind you. To find the answer, the military needed a laboratory. It found one in the remote Marshall Islands, a small ring of land in the vast Pacific Ocean. The atoll was called Bikini. Its inhabitants, a peaceful people, lived simple lives. When U.S. officials arrived, they told the chief a curious thing. They told him that the U.S. was going to drop a bomb and needed this island for a grand test, for the good of mankind, and to end all world wars. The chief, faced with the powerful Americans, consented. The people of Bikini were moved to a new island. They left their homes, their ancestors' lands, and their very way of life behind. The stage was set. The operation was called Operation Crossroads. The U.S. Navy assembled the 4th largest fleet in its history as a target. 95 ships, old battleships, carriers, destroyers, and even a captured Japanese battleship. Some had animals on board to see what would happen to living things. Thousands of sailors and scientists were there to watch. On July 1st, 1946, the first test, Shot Able, was ready. A B-29 bomber flew over the lagoon and dropped the bomb. It's a 23-kiloton bomb, just like the one that they had used at Nagasaki. It detonated in the air. The blast was immense. 5 ships sank. The rest were battered. The American public was watching, and the military concluded the fleet could likely survive. But that was only half the story. Weeks later, on July 25th, came Shot Baker. This time, the bomb was placed 90 feet underwater, right in the heart of the lagoon. The world had never seen anything like it. The explosion pushed an entire column of water and spray half a mile wide, high into the sky. It was as magnificent as it was terrifying. But something else happened. From the base of that massive water column, a deadly churning cloud of mist rolled out silently over the ships. This was the base surge. It was a wave of radioactive water so thick and so lethal that it coated every single ship. These ships were now too hot for humans to board. Decontamination efforts failed. The once mighty fleet was now a collection of floating radioactive hazards. The U.S. military realized its mistake. It had planned for a 3rd test, Shot Charlie, but it was canceled. The lagoon was poisoned. The ships were unsalvageable. The lesson was learned. The atom bomb wasn't just a bigger gun. It was an entirely new kind of weapon, one that could make an entire ocean and an entire fleet uninhabitable. But there's more to this story. When the U.S. chose a test site, they were looking for a location with minimal or no human population. Rongerik Atoll was uninhabited at the time, but for a reason. It was known to have a poor food and water supply. The 167 people of Bikini were relocated to Rongerik because it was the closest uninhabited atoll, but the relocation was a disaster. The lack of resources on Rongerik led to severe food shortages and near starvation for the Bikinians, proving that the atoll could not sustain a permanent population. This made it a poor choice for a long-term military base of operations, which was required for the lengthy test series. Bikini Atoll has a large protected lagoon that was ideal for mooring their target fleet of warships during Operation Crossroads. Rongerik, in contrast, is significantly smaller. Its lagoon is less than the quarter size of Bikini's, making it unsuitable for the scale of naval operations and bomb studies that the U.S. had planned. The Bikinian people were relocated again, primarily to the Kili and Egypt Islands. They are still unable to return to their homeland. The fight for justice, adequate compensation, and a safe return to their islands is an ongoing issue. There was a resettlement attempt in the 1970s. The U.S. government declared the atoll safe for habitation, and a small number of Bikinians did return. However, within a few years, it was discovered that they were ingesting dangerously high levels of radiation. Their bodies showed significant increases in cesium-137 levels, and they were evacuated again in 1978. The people of Bikini would never be able to go home. The very soil was poisoned. The coconuts, the crabs, the foods they ate, they were all filled with radiation. The island that was given up for the good of mankind was now a place that mankind could never return.